Okay, we are live. We are live, and we're going to go down another rabbit hole. We're going to re-enter the leather jacket, the leather jacket rabbit hole, and go down it a little bit. And there are lessons to be learned from this for folks that are going down the watch rabbit holes, the various watch rabbit holes. So, a lot of what we're going to talk about applies to that segment of the population. And of course, a lot of watch people do like high quality clothes as well. So this will apply to those who are in both camps. And what recently started this re entering the rabbit hole, I went down the rabbit hole maybe, well, after I watched the Indiana Jones movie, the first one, Raiders of the Lost Ark, I went down the rabbit hole a little bit because I wanted a jacket like this. I wanted the Indy jacket. And this was pre-internet. I finally ran down Peter Bottwright and found out that he had made the jackets for Indy in the movie, and I was able to convince him to make one for me to measure. And this was before he had a website, wested.com, and before he was offering them and so forth. He just he did it on a case-by-case basis for people that wanted the coats. He had the original patterns. And so anyway, I went down that rabbit hole a little bit then. I got this jacket and I've enjoyed it ever since. And I mean, it is my go-to if I'm traveling. It's my go-to jacket because it's roomy enough that I can put a sweater underneath it. It's also roomy enough that it's comfortable in all situations. Yet it looks halfway decent, and it's very soft, very nice leather with a beautiful grain to it. All the stitching is just perfect. He did a really great job on this. Now, I have been told that the newer jackets that West is making, Peter Bottwright passed away some years ago, but I understand that the newer jackets that they're making aren't quite up to this level of quality, but I don't know that firsthand. I don't know that firsthand. Um, so anyway, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this rabbit hole. Tom is in the house. Good quality leather jacket lasts a lifetime, just get better with age too. That's right. And so I think, especially if you're younger and you're thinking about getting a nice quality leather jacket, I think you really want to do a lot of research and get just the coat for you, and don't skimp and get the best quality leather, best quality construction. And because it is something that literally you can wear the rest of your life, assuming you don't put on a bunch of weight like a lot of people do as they get older. Derek's in the house. I have a leather from the 80s, still good now, Craig. Okay, cool. All right, so and I also got an email from R. Wags. Let me pull that up. Give me a second here. And this is a perfect example where he had this coat made 40 years ago. And I think he had said earlier previously that it's goat skin. And mouse is going crazy on this computer. And I guess he can still wear it. Maybe he'll end up in the chat here and he can let us know. Again, the downside to getting one when you're younger is if you put on weight, sometimes the jacket shrinks, right? Now, funny how that happens. And actually, sometimes they can shrink if they get wet, but usually they don't really shrink. Usually we get bigger. I've been fortunate in that I've been able to wear this one for, geez, I think I got it in the late 80s. When did the first Indiana Jones movie come out? Because I got it a couple years after that. It might have been the middle 80s. So yeah, so this one's been around a long time. Lance is in the house. Hello, Craig and all. Lisa's in the house. They are Legend Quality Jackets. Greeting from France. Okay, cool. All right, so so we're going to go through this, and I'm also going to talk about what triggered this discussion. Yeah, let me start with that. There's a member of the Wrench Gang, which I'm not going to mention his name. Carlos is in the house. When I did the, let me see if I can get over the shot here. When I did this blog post about the shot jacket, that I got. The 100th anniversary, made in 2013. That's the coat, the 100th anniversary coat that I got on eBay. That we had this discussion, and there's a member of the wrench gang. There's the video I made of me with it. Let me play a little bit of that. Okay, we're looking at the Shot Perfecto model PER 13. This was, anyway, we had this discussion, myself and the member of the wrench gang, and Kyle's in the house. And he said he's wanted a Shot jacket for a long time, and he's thinking about getting one, and he's thinking about buying it new for around $900, and they will shorten the sleeves for him, which I always need the sleeves shortened in mine. My arms are a little shorter than normal for a size 42. I need to usually have my shirts shortened. My shirt's about a 1-inch shorter sleeve length than what would be normal. So my jackets, this one, fortunately, was custom made, so the sleeve length is perfect for me, in my opinion. But I'm having the sleeves shortened on that Shot coat because the motorcycle jackets have longer sleeves anyway. They're designed to be that way, so when you're reaching for the handlebars, it still gives you good coverage. But I don't like sleeves that are long on my jackets. I just don't like it. It just bothers me. And I have Gauntlet gloves for when I'm riding the motorcycle, with the big leather gauntlets that come up over the jacket. So it doesn't bother me if the sleeves ride up a little bit when I'm reaching forward. So I'm having the sleeves shortened on the Shot and having a couple other things done that I've talked about in the previous broadcast. Check out the link in the description to my blog post about Shot, and you'll see what's going on there. But anyway, this discussion came up. He's thinking about buying one. And I said, you might want to look at other options. Okay, let me read a couple of these comments. Tim in the house. I bought a leather jacket from Bali, Indonesia, handmade from what I liked in a magazine. Went on holiday. That was almost 30 years ago and still going strong. There you go. Craig, do you think Omega has surpassed Grand Seiko? Oh, no. Sent you a picture of my G1 there. Yes, I showed it. Does it still fit you? Because if it does, that's discipline. That you've been taking care of yourself. I noticed you were in really good shape when you were at the party. Will that jacket still fit you after 40 years? Lance in the house. Craig, do you like short sleeves to show off the faux pay and watch? I got to think about that, about what I want to do when I go to Miami, because I will be wearing a lot of short sleeves, and I don't know if I want to do that or not. I'm thinking about that. Lance, what watch do you have now? I'm thinking of making a buy soon. Okay. All right. So anyway, we talked about this, and I said, listen, for $900, you can probably get a really high-end leather jacket that would normally cost about $2,000. You can get it on eBay in mint condition. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples of that. So I said, listen, and he also said he has some fit issues. The other option is there are people that will custom make the coat for you to make sure that you get the right fit. And he's going to have to spend more if he buys it new, right? Custom made. But if it's something he's going to keep literally for 40 years, 50 years, it's probably worth it to get something amazing. And this particular individual says, well, no, I like the brand name. I like Shot and all that. Well, I mean, come on, if you can get a significantly better coat, maybe for less money, that might be worth looking at. Let's see. We got a couple more comments here. Craig, Cuban necklaces are mandatory in Florida. I don't know about that. They can be a little tacky. I get a nice Tommy Bahama dress watch as a gift. I'll send a photo. Okay, cool. Great video of the 911. Okay. All right. So anyway, I'm going to show you a couple things here to make my point. If you wear a leather jacket in Panama, it's kind of a ticket for the mental asylum. Yeah. See, that's the other thing. I mean, depending on where you are, you may or may not need a leather jacket at all, right? But let's see here. Okay. So here's an example. Here's a jacket that was on eBay, and I need another leather jacket like I need a hole in the head. But I actually did make a bid on this coat. And let me show you the pictures first. This is made in Japan. This is, I think it's pronounced Shinki leather, which is veg tanned, high-end leather from Japan. It's horsehide. You can see there, it's fountainhead leather made the coat. And they're a fairly high-end producer. This is about a $2,000 jacket, new. It's still sold brand new, the exact same model. And this arguably is my size. Okay, so he was asking $900. This sold. Okay, he was asking $900 or offer. I offered him $600, and he came back and said he would take $700. And I think I could have gotten it for $650. I did some additional research and found out that this particular model, size 42, might be a little snug in the shoulders for me. And so I backed out. I didn't go any further on the bidding, and he has since sold it. But this is just a perfect example. This is a coat in my size, theoretically, that was a $2,000 coat, and somebody bought it for somewhere between $650 and $900. Okay, somewhere in that range, because it was an offer that he accepted, and he would have accepted $650 from me. I think he would have. He came back. I offered $6. He came back at $7. I could have probably gotten it for $650. But anyway, I could have definitely got it for $7. So I'm just saying that would be, if that's a coat that this individual who's thinking about buying a coat likes, that's about the same price that he would pay for the shot coat. Okay. And he'd get a far superior coat. Now, the 100th anniversary edition shot coat that I got is a step up from the normal shot coats as far as quality, but it's still not in the quality range of these $2,000 coats. I think it's good enough for what I'm going to use it for as an actual motorcycle jacket. I think it's going to be fine, but you can't compare it to these $2,000 and $2,500 coats that are made of veg tanned leather. Okay, so okay, so we're going to have an eBay listing to look at. So let me just get through these tabs, and then we can freewheel it here. The next tab I'm going to show you. Oh, shoot. Okay, so this is on the Fedora Lounge. This is a discussion of a bomber jacket, shearling bomber jacket. Okay. And the reason I'm showing you this is, and go back to this other tab. Here's a coat, again, in my size. Here's a coat that they're asking $700. Okay. Buy it now price of $700. Get the pictures going here. This is made in England. This is, of course, a shearling bomber jacket, high end. And this one also retails for around $2,000, current model, still available. It's a reproduction of the last shearling bomber jacket that was used before they went to the nylon jackets. This is right at the end of World War II. This was the last model that they used. Okay. Nice coat, my size, and $700, new condition. Okay. See, something like this might be the situation where they bought it and they can't return it and they have to sell it or whatever. Who knows? Who knows what the reason is why they're taking a bath on it. But it's just another example of these high-end leather coats that can be bought in pretty much mint condition, sometimes at a deal. And so I would think a whole bunch of times before I paid a whole bunch of money and bought one of these things brand new. I'd think that over a little bit is the point I'm trying to make. Let's see. Craig, you're getting a Suzuki. I don't know what that is. I don't know that model. And we're going to look at the emails in a second. Craig, you're going to have to get gloves as well as boots. I've got really nice gloves. I've got nice Gauntlet gloves and regular gloves. I got 2 pair of Gauntlet gloves, 1 pair that's fairly light. In other words, not a lot of insulation, and another pair that has more insulation. And I've got chaps, I've got boots, I've got all my stuff because, you know, I've had motorcycles before. Carlos in the house, have you ridden your bike to Mount Palmer? And I'm not sure. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's check the email. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that is one ugly watch. That is one ugly watch. Let's see if we can look at the pictures here. That is one ugly case. And yeah, integral bracelet. Yeah, that is a bag of hurt. Yeah, that would be a hard pass on that one. Hard pass on that puppy. Yeah, we don't buy the ugly watches on this channel. So let's see the next email. Let's see here. And this is the one Lance sent in. I'm not a big fan of square watches, but it looks kind of like Art Deco. It kind of looks kind of cool. I guess those are flying geese or something on the top. I mean, I wouldn't wear the watch personally, but you know, yeah. Personally, I would pass, but that might just be me. Let's see. Craig, what gloves do you use when riding? Let me get the Gauntlet gloves. Hold on a second. I've got a couple pairs of these. But I actually had these handy because I just cleaned them up. I just put some leather treatment on them, and they're like brand new. These date from about the late 80s. These are, let's see, who's the brand? These are Roadman gloves made in USA, made in the beautiful USA. Very soft. They've got a nice lining inside. Fit me like a glove. See how that gauntlet, you can stuff the jacket into it, and that gauntlet goes right up over the jacket. It's a very nice long gauntlet. So that's why I don't need to have my jacket sleeves particularly long on my jackets that I'm going to wear riding a motorcycle, because I have another pair of Gauntlet gloves like this that are not lined, or maybe they have a real thin lining. In other words, they don't have any insulation to wear in warmer weather, right? So I got the gloves thing down pat. Let's see. I have the feeling that today Craig has an adrenaline high, or as I, steroids. Maybe I am especially relaxed mood. Maybe. Tim's in the house. We were talking about leather bomber jacket. Craig, have you ever been drawn to pilots' watches? Well, I mean, I had GMT Masters for years, if you would call that a pilot watch. I wore those in rotation with the date for years. Do you use cast iron skillets? Not anymore. No, but they're good. They're good. Bree, can I have those gloves when you inherit them? um, yeah, they're really nice. Made in the USA. Very nice leather. They've been soaking wet too, I'll tell you, a couple times. When you get caught out in the rain, sometimes that happens. Just let them dry out nice and slow and natural. Don't put them next to a heating source. They'll dry out. Doing a little leather treatment on them, they're good to go again. Same thing with the coats. I've had this coat has been soaking wet before, and it's fine. Okay, what else? Okay, I think I have some other tabs I have to show. Give me a moment here. Oh, okay. So this is the actual coat that I just showed you that I could buy for 700. This is the coat on Eastman leather on their website. And you can see it's 1,399 pounds. That's like $1,850. And then I think there's some import duty on it or whatever. It's going to be close to $2,000 when all is said and done. So that is because you have to pay tax and all that too. So so yeah, that's just illustrating that if somebody wanted one of those, and I'm not going to buy another one of those. I had a bomber jacket. I had a B3 bomber jacket by Averex. It's not as high end as that, but pretty decent quality coat. And it was too thick, and the shearling in it was too thick. I have two other shearling coats that aren't quite as thick as that one that I much prefer. One made in England, and one made in the USA. So I've got, see, that's the thing. I don't really need any of these jackets. Of course, do we really need a lot of the things we buy, right? If I really had a need for this particular jacket, had a real use case for it, I would snag that one for $700 like yesterday. I would snag it. That's a hell of a deal, right? For a coat that would normally be close to $2,000 and it's in new condition. So it just illustrates the point that why would you go and spend $900 for a brand new coat that's a $900 coat when you can spend maybe even less than that and get a $2,000 coat? That's the question to ask. Those looks like a great fit. Brass knuckles inside. There are basically built-in brass knuckles already in those gloves. Yeah, they're ready for action. I had a leather jacket getting soaking wet when in prolonged torrential rain, and it was dripping black dye droplets when I hung it to dry. Is that a sign of poor quality? Yeah, I would say so. I would say that's not a good sign. Let me think what else. Have we covered everything? Okay, so we covered that you can get a high-end, let's say $2,000 leather jacket for more like around anywhere from $700 to $900. So we covered that. We covered that you have to really research and be careful and get the coat that you want. And one of the things, couple things I like about this coat is it doesn't have a quote slim fit. I don't like some of those A2 jackets have a very trim fit, and some of the motorcycle jackets from Schott have a very trim fit, right? I would rather buy one of the ones that doesn't have the trim fit because I want to be comfortable in my clothing, right? I don't need to look like a male model. I don't look like a male model anyway, and I don't care to be attractive to other men, right? I don't care to like, quote, show off my body to other men because I don't try to attract other men, right? and women don't give a shit about any of this stuff, right? So if you're trying to attract women, what you need is money. Okay, that's the pro tip here. You need money. Let me play this for you guys.
Everybody needs money. That's why they call it money.
Okay, so there you go. And it's also about love. It's also about gold.
You forgot your change. Makes the world go round.
What's that? Gold. Some people say love.
Yeah, they're right, too. It is love. Love of gold.
So there you go. It's about love of gold. Okay, so we've established that I don't buy my leather jackets so they're nice and tight so that I can attract other men. Okay, so since I'm not concerned about doing that, that now I can worry about a comfortable fit that looks good but is comfortable. I can move in it. If I have to put another layer underneath it, you know, like a sweater or something, I can do that. So that's what I have to do. Okay, so let me see. I got a couple more comments, and then I'm make another point. Are you getting goggles? No, I don't need goggles. Craig, if gas goes to any more high, will you sell it? Your V8? I don't have a V8. Okay, that's funny and true fact about money. White gold rules. I don't think so. Did you like the Poseidon adventure? I don't remember it that much, but I don't think it was one that I was like totally enamored with. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to demonstrate this coat. Okay. All right. So it's off the shoulders. This is the way it was designed by Peter Bottwright and Harrison Ford. This is the fit that he wanted for the movie. Okay. This is the look he wanted. Now, if I zip it up, if I zip it all the way up, okay, it comes back off the shoulders and the collar comes in all the way around, tight all the way around, and you get a different look, but it's zipped up. Okay. All right. But see, I got very good freedom of movement with the bi-swing back. I've got the two basically vents here, right? And the adjustment on the side makes it very, very comfortable. All right. Now I'm going to take it off. Now, one thing that you'll notice, that you notice about all that is the jacket is extremely versatile. That's why they come up with that design. That whole design was designed so that Indy could do all kinds of things, right? Do all kinds of action. He also, the way it was like, it kind of like falls off away from the collar when it's not zipped up. Some people would say that, oh, that's terrible, right? It should be right up against the collar all the way around. But having it fall off the collar like that when it's not zipped up also allows for you to breathe and not stay quite as hot, right? And also, again, lends to comfort. So the whole thing, and I read about it, and I actually talked to Peter Bottwright about it when I ordered my coat, about the design of the coat. And he actually worked very closely with Harrison Ford when he designed the coat. And they came up with that design. And there is no other coat that's made like that. There are some coats that were pre-World War II, that were similar. Most of them were buttoned up the front, not a zipper. And there were like work coats and coats that were designed for truckers. And of course, there were a lot of coats designed for motorcyclists and so on. But this coat, this particular design, was almost a one of a kind and a hybrid between the pre-war coats and the coats that came later, like the A2 bomber jacket, because the pockets on the front are very similar to that A2 bomber jacket that our Wags has. So it was I think they came up with a great design for an all around, especially if you're traveling or something, like Indiana Jones traveled a lot, right? Just an all around leather coat, right? And I don't know that there's anything I would change to improve it. So hence, it's my favorite leather jacket. I have a number of leather jackets. It's the one I grab and go with. It's the one I will take on my trip, right? Because sometimes you'll get a cool evening, even down in Miami, even in April, you might get a cool evening. I might want the leather jacket, right? So I will bring it. It goes with me anytime I travel. So if you get a leather jacket, that's what you want. You want something that you really feel comfortable in. Notice I had it on even with my sleeves rolled up. See, there was enough room in the sleeves to allow for this. Even though my forearms are relatively large, I still had room to have my sleeves rolled up like this and put the coat on. Here, I'll put it on again and show you. So see how it's coming off the shoulders? It's kind of like almost looking like it's going to fall off. Okay. That that was the design. This is how they designed the coat. He wanted to show a lot of the shirt underneath, and he wanted to show that Indy was sweating and so on. And yet when you zip it up, you can bring it all in nice and tight to protect you from any wind or if it's actually cold or whatever. So it does both things. It can be very open and very slouchy, and it can also be brought in. And if you watch the movie, you'll see that's exactly how it was used throughout the movie. So, and if you're looking for a wested leather jacket, look for the old ones, the old style ones with the simple wested label in the back, not the ones that have the big label inside that say, made from the original patterns, Raiders of the Lost Ark, all this crap, the big label that they put in them. That's all. They've done all of this after Peter Bottwright passed away, maybe a little bit before while he was still alive. But I would try to get one of the ones with the old simple style wested label. Let me see if I can pull it up here and show you. Okay, so that is the label that I would look for. Okay, that and not a whole bunch more. All right, so that way you'll know you're getting one of the older, more original design units. Let's see here. Craig, are you rating a Brie a full? I've never seen. Okay, Craig. Okay, here we go. Let's get caught up. One poor guy, handsome and well-dressed, versus obese slob with cash. The woman will choose the guy with money every time. Absolutely. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think that it's a good idea, even if you have cash, you should still be decent to the woman. Now, some of them will go with you anyway, even if you're a total slob and a total asshole. They'll go with you anyway. But I think it's better that you treat them decently, because especially if you want to keep them around for a while. But yeah, of course, they're going to want to go with the successful. They want to go with a successful individual that can help them build their nest. They're nesting individuals. They want to build a nest, and they want that nest to be strong and substantial. Carlos is in the house. Thank you, Craig, for wearing pants on this demonstration. There you go. Did it specially for you. The grid. I've never seen such great back structure on a leather jacket and double back vent. Nice. There you go. Craig, are you getting Bree a full leather outfit? Bree has a leather jacket, a couple leather jackets. I don't know if she has leather pants. It's a good question. Thoughts on the leather pants all wore in T2? I don't remember them, to tell you the truth, but if he wore them, I'd say probably okay. How much cedar/garment bags do you use to store all your nice clothing? I had Moz get a second home closet, and well, that was that. You got to be careful. I don't generally do a lot of that as far as moth protection. I agitate them. You want to agitate them if you're not wearing the jacket or sport coat regularly, especially cashmere. Agitate the heck out of it. Maybe even once a week. Just agitate them. The the moth eggs don't survive that, and so that'll keep it all under control. Carlos is, and keep your place clean. Keep your place clean, not cluttered, and don't jam in clothing that's in the back of your closet, all jammed in tight together. That is a classic environment for the moths to have a fun time, have a picnic. So keep some space between your clothes and agitate them regularly and keep them relatively clean. I have a feeling that with you, great shape, ultra slim fit khakis would fit you better. Oh God. No. Again, Carlos, I'm not trying to attract the male individuals. I'm trying to attract the females, and they don't like that stuff. They don't like the gay fit clothes. I meant to say slim fit clothes. Derek's in the house. We have more to talk on when Lance calls in. Craig, which property is the most expensive to maintain? Of my properties, the Florida house, I pay for all the outside maintenance quarterly. It's a gated community where they do all the outside maintenance. I did that on purpose because I travel a lot and I'm not there to do maintenance. And so I pay through the nose for quarterly maintenance. They even periodically paint the outside. It's stucco, and so it periodically needs to be painted. And they periodically do that as part of the exterior maintenance. Now, the upside to all of that is that all the houses look nice. And then, so the downside is you got to follow the rules and all that, and you got to pay through the nose. Speaking of paying through the nose, Kyle's in the house, and he says BTC is least expensive to maintain. That's correct. So, Kyle, quick question on the on the Airbnbs. On the Airbnbs, how I don't understand how people get away with having a detached private home, for example, in Sarasota, that, let's say, it's not in a HOA. It's not, it's just a house. It's not in a development where you have rules and all that kind of stuff. I would still think that they wouldn't be allowed to do an Airbnb because that's like operating a business out of the home. I would think that there would be rules against that, zoning rules against that. I would think you would have to be zoned as a hotel, for example, or as a business of some sort to be able to do that sort of thing. How do they get around that? I'm curious as to how Airbnb was able to get around that and allow all these different homeowners to be basically operating as hotels. And are they getting away with it in all jurisdictions, or are they just getting away with it where nobody's bothering to say anything? Because I'm curious. The reason I'm asking these questions is I'm actually really considering buying another house down there in Sarasota in an area that would allow that. Because I know where my house is in Rosedale, that there's no way that they would allow it there. I mean, we have restrictions. You can only do a monthly lease, and they've got to approve the lease. You know, if you rent your house out, there are definitely restrictions that would not allow you operating as an Airbnb. But I'm curious as to how they got around that in other areas, in other jurisdictions. So do tell. Let's see here. BTC, okay. I assume when your Florida house lease ends, you will have to do some work on it. I suggest to do the toga party before walking. They're actually they are actually doing a good job. They're keeping it up pretty nicely. I've got great tenants. But what about the environmental expenses of BTC? What do you mean? What are you talking about, environmental expenses? But Bitcoin doesn't, there's nothing Bitcoin does to harm the environment. Let's see here. Kyle is in the house. A lot of gray area with Airbnb. The cities are still trying to catch up. Here in LA, you must pay occupancy tax to the city, which is 14%. They also cap the amount of days you can rent annually. Oh. And you have to be registered with the city now too. Wow. Okay. So they're starting to clamp down. Oh boy. Oh well. Never let a good entrepreneur get away with being an entrepreneur. So anyway, I kind of breezed over Boozer's ridiculous comment. What about environmental expenses of BTC? Okay, so he's probably listening to these environmentalist wackos that think that anytime you use energy, it's a bad thing. But when the opposite is true, the more energy that you use, the better for humanity. Humanity has always moved forward as far as the standard of living based on the amount of energy they use. The more energy they use, the higher the standard of living. It's as simple as that. I mean, if you go throughout the history of humankind, anywhere that humans have flourished and where they've had an upward, trajectory of the amount of flourishing, of the quality of life, whatever way you want to gauge it, it's always been associated with more energy use. So the more energy we use, the better off we are. And the fact that Bitcoin uses a significant amount of energy for Bitcoin mining, this is probably what he's talking about, is a good thing, a very good thing. And the more energy that Bitcoin uses to secure the network, that's what the energy is used for, is to secure the network and to secure your hard-earned savings that you're putting in Bitcoin. And the more that they use to secure that, the more energy they use to secure the network, the more secure the network is. And therefore, the more robust it is. And therefore, the safer any value that you're storing in it is. And because the energy cost is one of the highest costs for Bitcoin mining operations, they have to buy the mining rigs, the units that do the calculations and all that. Then they have to pay for the place to put those and how to cool it and all that. And then they have their electricity costs. Their ongoing electricity costs is one of their biggest expenses. So because that's the case, what Bitcoin miners do is they seek out the cheapest possible electricity. And oftentimes that is electricity that would normally be wasted. It's excess energy from hydroelectric dams that they can't sell, that the hydroelectric dam operator can otherwise not sell. They'll sell it to the Bitcoin operator. And so that allows them to continue to run and continue to be profitable. Flared gas from natural gas from oil drilling rigs and so forth, natural gas that might normally be flared off into the atmosphere and just totally wasted, that can be routed towards mining operations, Bitcoin mining operations, to allow them to utilize that, what would normally be wasted, and get revenue from that, to allow them to operate more efficiently. So the Bitcoin miners seek out this electricity that is usually nobody else can buy it. It's maybe stranded electricity that nobody else can buy. So it's a really good thing for the environment that the Bitcoiners do that. Here is so Bitcoin. So the short answer and the long answer. The short answer is Bitcoin is great for the environment. The long answer is it's great for the energy sector as a whole, because they are a buyer of last resort for a lot of energy that otherwise cannot be sold to a interested party. How you doing, Lance?
Hi, Craig. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Are you out of school now? Is it spring break?
Oh, school. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I actually just had spring break, and I'm going back to school tomorrow.
Gotcha. Wow. Where did you go for spring break?
I went to Florida.
Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
Was it where? What part of Florida?
Jupiter, Florida.
Okay. Did you have a
Yeah.
good time?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I got my scuba diving certification.
Oh, cool.
On there.
Okay,
So
we got a couple more comments here. Boozer says liberals use the pretense of anti-racism and environmentalism to cancel things that they don't like. Yeah, that I'm sure they would. The energy, real estate footprint, and infrastructure required to support the central banking system we have now has a much greater negative impact on the environment than any BTC mining. Good point. Not to mention all the wars. Look at the war in the Ukraine that's happening right now because of the fiat monetary system. That war wouldn't be happening, and all that destruction wouldn't be happening. Lance in the house. Kyle says, hey, Lance, the grid.
Kyle?
Hydro Energy loves miners. They sell us power at a cheaper rate when demand is lower, and we could come on and off as demand costs rise at any moment. That's right. They call it a buyer of last resort. In other words, they've got this electricity that they otherwise can't sell. Now, all of a sudden, the Bitcoin mining operation is willing to buy it. It makes their operations more efficient. Is Lance a high schooler? No, you're in college now.
Yeah, college. Yeah.
And how long does that take, Lance? I'm interested in doing that someday. What's he talking about?
Oh yeah, so and with the scuba diving, so there's
Okay.
it took me about 4 classes in the water. We did 2 in the pool. We did 2 in the pool and then 2 in the ocean, and then there's 1 class of doing like all the paperwork and like and all the like uh um tests that you need to do, like to
Did you actually have to take a test?
Yep. Yeah. I had to take 4 small tests and then one final test, and then after that I got all my scuba gear, and then we went in the water, and then we practice all the different techniques with scuba, and then we went in the ocean, and then the instructor would ask us to do certain maneuvers in underwater and like in different tasks, and then after that we would get certified. So I'm officially certified.
What they want to know what watch you wore. Now all they care about is watches on this channel.
I wore my so I wore my Seiko diver.
You what?
And my Seiko diver. in
Oh,
SQ.
your Seiko. Okay.
Um,
Gotcha. Okay. And it didn't leak?
no, yeah, because that watch is certified to go, I think, up to 200 meters, and we only went a maximum of like 25 feet underwater.
Yeah, but a lot of the people in the forums and all that, they say that, unless you have it serviced every 6 months, that, it's going to leak when you go in the water.
I don't know, because I know that a lot of people do say that you should get it serviced every like 6 months and stuff like that. But
Some of them say once a month, the ones that are in the business servicing them.
A little too much, I think.
Yeah, the ones that are in the business of actually doing the work and charging you, they say you should do it really often.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course, because they want you to keep coming back.
As long as you just keep paying them, then and they'll say that you're good to go, right? I think some of these guys that actually sell servicing on some of these watches, I'm convinced that some of them never even open the watch because they know it's silly, right? That there's no reason to open the watch, right? The watch is fine. They just take it and they hold it for about 8 weeks or something, right? Because it takes a long time to service a watch, right? So they hold it for about 8 weeks and then they send it back to you, and you pay them $600 or whatever. And I'm convinced that some of them never even opened the watch. What do you think? You think that's possible, Lance?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I know I had a Victorinox watch that I got serviced once, and I found out that the guy who serviced it didn't even fix the problem. He opened it and like he cleaned the movement or something, but he didn't fix the problem. So then I brought it back because he charged me the full price and like for servicing, and then I brought it back and he fixed it again. But I've had some problems with some like watchmakers that like do servicing and stuff like that.
So Durr's in the house. He says, I thought this was one of those premiere videos that for some odd reason goes live and has a chat room, is not actually live, and are usually only a couple of minutes. Oh, okay. I don't know why you would have thought that. By the way, we talked about leather jackets in the first part of the show. You might want to check it out on the replay. And you asked me, Durr, about the link that I shared. If I share a link to a podcast and I say, wow, even if it's an hour long, it's worth listening to. I wouldn't share it with the word wow if it's not worth listening to. That podcast was amazing that I shared. I shared it in the Watches channel earlier. Nice to have an e-celeb in the chat, Clive. I don't know if this is the real Clivester, though. Talked to the dog man recently. This could be the fake Clivester. Probably is fake. If it's the real Clivester, text me right now on my phone. That's the litmus test because he has my phone. He can text me. And so, see, if he doesn't text me right now, then we know it's a fake Clivester. What else? What else? Did you hear us talk about the leather jackets?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Are you going to get yourself a leather jacket at some point?
I do want to get one. I was looking on eBay last week at jackets, and because a few of my friends have those jackets like that, and it's pretty cool. So
yeah, take a look when you really feel like you've finished growing, that you're kind of like the size you're going to be, right?
Yeah.
I would really research it and go ahead and use the links that are in the description of this particular show, and use that as a starting point and really research it because you're young, and I think you're going to take fitness and health seriously. And I think that you're probably not going to blow up like a balloon like some people do. Yeah. And so if that's the case, you want to get a jacket that is going to literally last your lifetime. You want to get the right coat.
Yeah.
Because,
I
know, this is the type of thing that can do that.
Yeah, but I think that I should wait maybe like another year probably until I buy one because I'm still getting taller a little bit, so I'll probably wait.
Yeah, I would wait. How old are you now?
I'm 18.
I would wait until you're at least 22.
Okay.
But that's going to give you, you know, a few years to kind of research and kind of figure it out. And because I think it's a part of a wardrobe that can be very important if you get it right. If you get it wrong, it's just going to sit in your closet and you're not going to wear it. Right. So you want to get it right because it's the type of thing that it will literally last your entire life if you get a good one. Don't get junk. If you get a good one, it literally will last your entire life. And you're going to be able to get a deal on one on eBay because some people outgrow their coat. You know, they eat too many donuts or whatever, and they outgrow their coat and they got to sell it.
Yeah,
they're not going to get, they're going to get a fraction of what they paid for it new.
Yeah, and and they'll spend like a few hundred on a really nice coat, and then they'll outgrow it in a few years.
Yeah, let's say for example, let's say they bought, let's go whole hog. Let's say they bought a $2,000 jacket, right? They went all the way. They got a top of the line $2,000 jacket. And they wore it for 4 years and they ate too many donuts, right? And this thing is still in really great shape. Okay. Let's say that you pay, even if you pay $500 for it, my God, you're getting a $2,000 coat for $500.
Yeah.
Right. That's not bad. So, I think that would be better than buying a $200 coat and getting a $200 coat. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's something to think about. Let's see. Carlos says, I assume Lance is not in Florida anymore. That's correct. He came back. Yep. You're not paying attention, Carlos. He's already said that he came back. Clive says, Tudor's a great option if you can't afford Rolex, Derek. Email me. That now we know it's a troll, Clivester. There's in the house. Get a leather jacket now, slay the ladies, and look cool. Then when you grow out of it, sell it on eBay and get another one. Let's see here. Chip, I got a new phone. What's your number again? See, we knew it was a scammer.
Not real.
Derek, what model Tudor? See, Lance, eat the donuts, buy a leather jacket, and get a Rolex. Pelagos. Okay. All right. I think we're going to wrap it up. Do you have anything else? They're distracted and they have issues, but do you have anything else?
I did send in a really nice Grand Seiko. So
okay, let me pull up that. Let me pull that up.
Check that out. Yeah. It's a hand wind in 18 karat gold.
All right, I'm going to make this solo layout so we can see it better. And I'm going to show the pictures. Nice looking piece. We're going to take our time on this one. I like it. And see, I don't mind the screws for the case back to open the case back. I don't mind that. Some people have an aversion to that, but doesn't bother me. Looks like it's got all the paperwork. Oh, shoot. This thing is acting up. My mouse on this computer, I got to get another mouse. So 1,000.
Yeah, no, they want.
Buy it now. 10,269. So some people, of course, aren't going to want it because it says Seiko at the top, right? Grand Seiko at the bottom.
What year did Grand Seiko change it where it said just Grand
2017.
Seiko? Okay. Yeah, so and then
so what size is this one? Let's look at the size here. 37 mil, which is a nice size. Yeah. Thickness is 11 mils. That's nice. Now, this is not a spring drive, correct?
I do not believe so. I think it's just a regular hand wind.
Yeah. So see, that's the other thing. You're not getting the spring drive. And here's the thing. here's the thing. I mean, for not a whole bunch more money, well, maybe maybe $5,000 more, you can get an 002. So
How
I
much
think
are
if you're going to spend $10,000, I think you might as well just go ahead and go all the way and do an 002.
now? The an 002. How much are those around like now?
Well, I mean, I think you can buy one used for like around 15. I think that the lowest we've seen them sell for was like 13.5 or something.
Okay.
It was like the lowest. But I think they more often, I think you're going to be more like around 15,000. So, well, it is $5,000 more. So I don't know. And this one does not have a deployant.
Yeah, I think it's just like a normal clasp.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. You don't get the deployant. I would definitely go the 5,000 more to get the spring drive, get the modern dial, get the deployant. The deployant alone is worth a couple grand, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what I would do. Let's see. Durr says, Mr. Wonderful was crapping all over Seiko for having spring drives in them. Therefore, under Grand Seiko in the latest study video, I agree with him. No room for spring drive in regular Seikos. Yeah, some of these people, I mean, Mr. Wonderful, God bless him, but he's just got no sense of style, no taste. I mean, he's kind of out there. Kyle's in the house. I like that watch for the most part.
And then I know another Grand Seiko that's fairly affordable is it's the 9F one. It's it's quartz, so it's the 9F quartz in gold, and you can find those online for like I don't remember how much. I've seen them for like as low as like four.
Depends on the size. If you get one the size that we had, that Brianna has now, the 35.5 mil one, I think you can get those for around 4,000. But if you step up in size to, even 37 mil, I think the price is going to pop up. I don't know. I think you're going to have to go more like 7 or 8. Durr says I wouldn't spend $10K on that GS, maybe 5 or 6. My guess is you're not going to get it for that, but you could give it a shot. Let's see. We found one used for 16K recently, the 002. Yeah, but I think you could probably get one for 15 if you made the offer. Based on what we know. We'll see. You never know, but yeah, I would go that route. That makes sense. They should only put it in GS. I don't think it matters where they put the spring drive. I mean, if they can put it in a high-end Seiko and people want that, I mean, it's a great drive. And I think, to tell you the truth, I think they should license it to other manufacturers too and make some money off of it. I don't see a problem with that. Of course, Rolex wouldn't want to put a spring drive, although putting a spring drive in like the Date 8 would be fantastic. I don't think Rolex would ever do something like that, because that would be admitting that the Grand Seiko movement is better than their movement, right? So I don't think they're ever going to admit that. But yeah, I think the spring drive, I think the more watches that the spring drive is in, the better. I think it's a great movement. I think it was a fantastic step up from a normal mechanical movement in a lot of ways, not just the accuracy and not just that smooth sweep of the second hand, but what that smooth sweep of the second hand tells us is, and when you look at the wheel that's inside that's running all the time, it's running the same direction all the time. It's not like a typical movement that is jerking back and forth, with the escapement and all that wear and tear that causes, that they have to come up with all kinds of band-aids to try to mitigate that, right? All these things that Omega's done over the years and all these advancements and all, it's all to try to get around the effects of that escapement, right? Grand Seiko doesn't have that. Everything just goes the same direction all the time. That's the way it should be. A wheel shouldn't jerk back and forth.
When
Right?
did Seiko come out in with the spring drive movement?
I think maybe 30 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, something like that. Because I know they had the 20th anniversary not too long ago. And they have anniversaries, different anniversaries. Like they have an anniversary of the manual wind spring drive at a certain point, and then they added automatic to it. And so there's different anniversaries, but I think it's like 30 years ago.
Yeah, and then
Let's see. Okay, let's go through the rest of these. We're going to wrap this up. Do you miss the accuracy of the 9F? Mine is running 2 seconds fast after 8 months. No, my spring drives are good enough for me. They're getting the job done for me. I'm happy with the accuracy on my spring drives. But the 9F is amazing. I think Jason got his O2 for a can of Campbell's soup and some coupons for Chick-fil-A. Yeah, Jason is a hell of a negotiator. Hell of a negotiator. GS has had a hard enough time when you start Zaratsu polishing regular Seikos and putting GS movements in them. That's a problem. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I'm not going to buy one, but it doesn't bother me. And hey, here's the thing. Think about it this way. I'm an end user of Grand Seiko watches. Anything they do that's stupid, that causes their watches not to sell as well, that anything they do to stay under the radar and to not get the word out about how great their watches are. This is all a good thing for somebody like me who's an end user, because it means if I do have to buy another watch, which I probably won't have to, my 2 watches will probably last me the rest of my life. But if I did have to buy another watch, it means I'm going to be able to buy it and for a decent price. The fact that they're clueless is actually a good thing. You know, the fact that Rolex, for example, is great at pumping up the value of their watches and making everybody want them and making everybody want to pay like double list price for them and all that stuff. That's not good for an end user. That's good for speculators and investors, quote, investors, people that think that their watch collection is going to keep going up in value. It's great for people like that. But it's not great for an end user that actually wants to buy and wear the watch, and that it's actually, you know, a tool that they're going to actually use, right? I don't want to pay more for my tools. I want to pay less for my tools. And just like Bitcoin is the same thing. Like if I didn't have enough Bitcoin, which I already have enough Bitcoin, I have plenty of Bitcoin. But if that wasn't the case, I would not want the price of Bitcoin to go up right now. I'd want it to go down. I would be cheering for the price to go down so that I can get mine, right? Now I already have it, so it's good with me. I'm fine. If the price goes up, I'm fine, right? But if I didn't have enough, I would be rooting for the price to go down. But you see all these people on Bitcoin Twitter that don't have that much Bitcoin at all. And they're always rah, 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 you know, bull market, you know, pump it up, you know, all this stuff, right? And I don't get it. Can you explain that to me, Lance? Why would somebody who doesn't have enough Bitcoin, why would they want the price to go up?
Let's see. I mean, I'm not too what do you say? Into cryptocurrencies, but I'd say they want it to go up probably. I'm not really sure why. I don't know. I'd say that maybe they want to like discourage people or something from.
I don't get it. I'm you not being able to explain it makes sense, because I don't think it's explainable. I don't think it makes any sense. And it's the same thing, by the way, with watches. If you don't already have like the Rolex watch that you want, it seems like to me the last thing you would want is for the prices to go up, right? I mean, you would want the price to go down so that you can buy the watch that you want, right? But all these people are like rah, 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 promoting the heck out of Rolex and, oh my God, look at this. Look how much this one is now. And oh, this watch here is going to be worth double a year from now, right? If they've got a bunch of watches that they're speculating on, I can understand that kind of activity, right? They're pumping up what they already have. But if you don't already have the watch, let's say you don't already have a Daytona, why would you want the price of the Daytona to stay strong and or go up? I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever. But anyway, a lot of things in life don't make a lot of sense. On that note, I think we're going to wrap it up. Check out all the links in the description. There's a lot of links there, and they're all on point. So take a look at those. Thanks for coming in, Lance. Anything else? Any final words? Or
I guess.
oh, you kind of froze a little bit there. Any final words?
Oh, I guess it's hi Bitcoin and Grand Seiko.
Bye, bye, Bitcoin and Grand Seiko. Love you to death, Lance. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Craig.
We will see you next time. All right. Another one bites the dust. Another show in the can. Another show in the can. Let's see here. It blurs the lines. Okay. What Seiko's doing just doesn't make sense. GS' biggest problem for years was convincing the crowd that their watches were worth the money, and everyone else was saying that a GS is just another Seiko. Like I say, I mean, it's great for those of us that are end users. The more stupid stuff that Grand Seiko does, the better. Yeah, I'm cheering them on for the stupid stuff. Then as soon as GS starts hooking people in, Seiko just digs themselves a hole again and gives people the reason to say that GS is just another Seiko all over again. Like I say, rah, 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 I'm all for it. Now, if I was thinking about selling one of my watches and wanted to get as much money as possible for my watch, then I'd be like really pissed off. I'd be like, my God, why are they doing all these things that are like keeping the prices down on these watches and so forth? But I'm the opposite. I'm a consumer of the watches. I actually want to use the watches. So I want the prices to be as low as possible. And I want them to be clueless. So yeah, but maybe that's just me. Lance, thanks for calling. Yes. Carlos, can you call now? Blue, are you here? There's in the house. Lamont is going to call and talk about the Sky Dweller. All right. All right, folks. I got to eat something. As you can see, I get mean when I'm hungry. So everybody carry on. It's all good. It's all good.